What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Your boy is back. We're back. Episode 51, Real Fans Podcast coming at you live. What's good? What's good? What's good? All three of us out here today. It's a good day. And, leading right into it. Hold on. I said 51. That sounds like he in 5, Gabe? What does that sound like?
I mean, that sounds like Jimmy Butler's stat line. He's sounding like he put up 51 points. It sounds like Yo, so there's lots to talk about. We can get to basketball, man. We're in the middle of basketball playoffs. We're Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. Last night, Miami plays. Boston comes into the FTX. I still call it AAA Arena. Looks a little shaky. Looks a little shaky for a little bit. Third quarter comes. One of the worst deficits, I guess, or one of the worst plus minuses Boston's ever put up. Miami holds it for the win. Jojo, what did you see yesterday from that game? What were your takeaways from game 1 in Miami?
Yo, I know you're not in town, but we had a block party in Miami yesterday. You missed out on a great block party. You saw swaps left and right out here. Shout out Bam and everyone else with that defense intensity. Everybody knows defense wins championships, and they brought it to the table. Listen, you got to defend home court, and that's exactly what they did. And game 1, you want to set the tone for the rest of the series, right? They came at you hard. We expect Boston to be a great team. They were missing 2 players, though, right? Marcus Smart did not play, and Al Horford did not play, so they caught a little break on that. And Boston still came out to a big lead. Obviously, we know what happened in the third quarter. They turned it around. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. And last point here, I feel like that's been the way these playoffs have been going. The most important quarter, I feel like, has been the third quarter. When you've seen all the comebacks, whether it's the Timberwolves giving up the lead, Phoenix coming back in a couple of games, Golden State coming back against Memphis, or vice versa between those teams. Third quarter has been very important in this playoffs.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people were talking about generally, Marcus Smart and Al Horford being out. I think it was for COVID things, but if you look overall statistically, I mean, if you look at the stat book, it's pretty much evenly matched. But Miami was giving that work in that third quarter. I mean, they had no answers for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler cut that fire. And I feel like Jimmy Butler, going into this playoffs, he's been one of the most efficient players, one of the most, as far as playoff stats. Like, he hasn't scored plus 40, during the regular season.
No.
But, this is, his fifth game in a playoff scoring, 40 plus. So, a lot of people are finding out about Jimmy Butler, surprising. I don't know why. Y'all
somehow has been in the league for how what's the season is he in? 8, 9?
I don't know. He's made his mark already. I feel like.
It's been a while.
He's known for his work ethic, not so much his basketball skill. He's in the NBA. We know he's skillful, but he's not we always go over this. A pure scorer, or known defensive, just all around defensive player. He's a little bit of both. He can do both. And it's funny that the way Jimmy Butler plays, he flies so under the radar during the regular season. Because granted, I really feel like he doesn't give a fuck about the regular season. He doesn't give a shit about the All-Star game or anything like that. We seen him at the All-Star game, whatever. This man is locked in playoffs, and he's a totally different player when it comes playoff time, because he knows what he wants. He wants that championship, and he plays that leadership role so well.
I was going to say he was drafted in 2011, so it's his 11th season.
Yeah,
there you go.
And so, I feel like we're getting a lot of the role players. You're seeing, as far as these two teams coming in, they're both complete teams. I think there in a guy, the Williams guy. Who was the guy that was injured, Jojo? The guy injured that was out for the last round. Their center. I forget his name. But you're seeing, as far as the Miami Heat, their role players come in. You're seeing Gabe isn't having a game.
Talk about Al Horford?
No. This is the other guy.
Wait.
The other guy. I forgot his name. So you're seeing Miami role players come in and step in and do what they've done all year, because, people want to talk about injuries. Fucking Spoelstra has been playing with injuries the entire fucking season, where he's had to put in, players, bench players to start.
Yep.
So this is just for me, as far as I see, as far as Miami Heat, this is just normal. You know, Kyle Lowry, I think he was available, but he didn't play. So we'll see if he comes in this series. But this is just like fucking business as usual. As far as I'm concerned with the Miami Heat, I don't expect them. You know, I expect them to win this game. I expect them to win the next game going into Boston. So I'm surprised people. I'm not surprised that people are just finding out about the Miami Heat because they've been doing this shit all year. You know what I mean? Like this is the type of game they play when they roll out the ball. So I mean, maybe we'll get some respect. Maybe people start talking about the Heat. I mean, I think they're the betting favorites. Julian, you can talk about the game if you saw it, but I think they're pretty much the betting favorites. The Celtics people are picking the Celtics still to win this series. What were you thinking?
They're the underdogs.
I don't. Are you sure that they're the favorites?
Yes.
I believe the Miami
Celtics.
Celtics are the favorites in this series. Everyone has them in 6.
Even without home court.
Of course.
Even without home court.
Listen, man, that's the amount of disrespect the Heat are getting this season. They're still the underdogs. They're number 1 seed in the East, right?
Wow.
They smoked Philly. They smoked Atlanta. They have the Celtics, still have home court advantage, and they're still the underdogs.
Right here, the Heat are the favorites.
Well, currently they won the first game, so I mean they struck first. They technically have the edge. Technically, they have the edge. They're up 1-0.
They have to win 3 games.
I mean, I don't know if like Vegas had it like them as favorites, the Celtics favorites going into the series. I mean, with home court advantage being so important in basketball, but I mean. Yeah, I mean, Celtics are hurting without Horford or Smart. Like that's huge for them. But I mean, I know Gabe likes to think the Celtics are so scary, the scariest team since '95. Like since Jordan, like they're the scariest team.
And look how calm he is talking right now. Look at him. He's holding it together. I'm proud of you.
His chin's just shivering at it.
He's holding it together.
Here's my chin is holding up this beer that I'm drinking right now.
But I mean, like I said, last night didn't look like Celtics were a favorite team. So we're a team that was favorited. And yeah, this should definitely change the mold. And like, I think people just got so caught up in like that Celtics Bucks series being so good and like so back and forth that they forgot that like Miami hasn't even gone to a game 7 yet in the series. Granted, the competition hasn't been as fierce as what the Celtics had to go through.
Next. Yep, that's exactly what I was going to get into next.
But I don't know, man. Home court is a lot in basketball. It really is. Like, it means a lot. And unless the Celtics can prove me wrong, I have the Heat taking it. It's probably going to go game 7. I think everybody's going to win their home games. That's how I think it's going to end.
It's usually how it's going to go. So here's my take on this series, Gabe and Julian. I believe that as good as the Heat are and as good as the Celtics are, the Heat need to win in 6. I have faith in them, but if it goes to a game 7, I really do feel like the Celtics might have the edge and close it out because of the last 2 opponents they had in this playoffs. Heat don't need to give them a chance. They need to close it out in 6 max. And I still don't understand why they are the underdogs when they've had success against the Celtics, 2 seasons ago? They beat them in the playoffs. They beat the Bucks in the playoffs, in which I know the Bucks came back, so that series is 1. Bucks aren't even in the playoffs. Celtics took them out, and the Heat were the overall 1 seed with most recent success over that team. So I don't understand why they're not the favorites in this series. Well, before game 1, obviously. People are still doubting them. I think all these commentators and broadcasters and everybody, they're just happy to be in Miami. I don't know if you guys saw Stephen A. yesterday flexing in the suit and glasses. He still didn't have faith in it. He just wanted to be in Miami.
I stay away from that guy.
These guys they're just happy to be here.
They love to expense the trip. That's what they love to do.
Yeah. Real quick, I will, and then just to bounce off that game is like 7. I don't think so, because I think the only way if Miami drops a game at home, they're kind of fucked because winning in Boston is going to be extremely tough.
That's way harder than winning in Miami.
But I would feel way more confident in a game 7 than having to take a home game away from Boston, having a win away game.
Yeah. So, in general, I mean, I think what you said is right. Winning the home team is definitely going to be like home games are definitely going to be important. But that's one thing I do want to see. I do want to see Miami on the road. I think they can steal a game, regardless
they can
of
definitely steal a game.
regardless of whatever whatever you want to say about the Miami. Oh, they have. I don't even get that you're playing a lesser like maybe Miami had the better matchup. All right, a better matchups as far
Had a
as
more favorable matchup, yeah.
a more favorable. But guess what? We've been number one for most of the season. So like that's what the winner gets, right?
Yeah,
in the NFL,
no, for sure.
The winner gets a bye week. So I mean,
And the
this is not
worst
like a
seed.
new. It's not like Miami's just becoming the number one seed. Like they've been the number one seed for most of the entire NBA season.
And
like
they
I
were
said,
just in the finals 2 years ago. And Boston has
through-
yet to reach the finals without the big three.
Facts.
playing through injuries, playing without their starters, playing with
Facts.
new rotations, new guys. So, like I said, this is not new to me. Like I've been watching the entire season. Like, this is regular shit. And as far as like you want to talk about the Celtics schedule, I mean, you're talking about a team that got swept in the Nets. You're talking about a team, championship team without their number 2 guy. You know, a lot of people want to give slack to Miami for playing, and B wasn't out 2 games. Well, Middleton wasn't. Middleton for the Bucks wasn't playing.
Sixers weren't winning that series.
Yeah.
I don't care what with Embiid or not. With Embiid
Yeah.
out, they ain't winning that series. They're not deep enough.
So like to say like, oh, they went through a more arduous. To say the Celtics went through a more arduous to get to the final. I'm like, yeah, it seems pretty similar to me. It's not the exact same, not apples to apples, but I mean, it's pretty close. Like they didn't have, the Nets. I didn't predict to be that impressive. I wasn't that scared of the Nets. Julian was apparently. He was very terrified.
I was not scared of Nets. JoJo
He was scared of an 0-4 Nets.
Listen,
I wasn't
I got
scared of
bumped out in the
anybody.
first round.
I just said you didn't want them in the first round.
I didn't
That's all
say
I said.
anything about the Nets. You were
So,
talking about the Celtics being the scariest team since '95.
Well, because this is a 2-way team. Like I said, as far as complete teams, we're seeing the best teams of the Eastern Conference throughout the entire year. These are complete teams. They play offense and defense.
Absolutely.
Jason Tatum has definitely taken a step up. Compared to his previous years, he's taken that step. He's taken that leap to you got to talk about him. Like this guy's got to be top 10 right now. Like right now for this season in the he took that leap as far as
Even Jaylen Brown,
his career.
this guy's been closing out games as well. But yeah,
But I mean, both teams have a similar they're just deep. They're just deep team. They have good role players that can just come in and play if need be.
And that's the story of the entire of the playoffs. It's like who's healthy and who's playing on point, who's playing as a team, collectively, right? You're gonna have individual games. Jimmy Butler's probably gonna put up another 40, probably like game 3, game 4 or something. You're gonna have the fucking Max Strus game. You're gonna have the fucking Bam Adebayo game. Like somebody's gonna give you a game as far as the Heat are concerned. Yeah, Tyler Hero's gonna have a game. If this game goes to 7, Tyler Hero's gonna have a game. So that's kind of what I expect. Like you never know. Like that's one thing they were saying is like with Middleton out, the Celtics, they can concentrate on Giannis because you didn't have another guy to worry about, right? A main scorer, a main guy that's going to facilitate and give teams. But with the Miami Heat, you got guys, like I said, Max Strus can have a game. He's going to go off. He's going to give you threes. I think he was shooting 3 of 8. He didn't shoot too well today.
Depot facilitate.
Yeah.
I know you still got Lowry out, but there's a lot of other players on that.
Somebody's going to give you a game.
And look, that's a testament too. Lowry's been out for the majority of the playoffs, and they're still winning games.
Yeah, I mean he was out last round. Like I said, I think he's. Let me double check on that.
He's been out of quite a few games.
And check this. Aside from him being out, they're not even playing their best 3-point shooter for whatever reason. If you want to elaborate on that, why hasn't Duncan Robinson been playing, Gabe? What's going on over here?
Well, I think they're hiding
contract, and now you're not going to use him.
He signed a $90 million contract. And I think one of the things that Miami figured out is like on defense, he's a liability. As big as he is, because he's a tall guy, he's kind of a he's a tallish guy. I'm not saying he's like 7 foot. He's a tallish guy, long guy, can shoot threes. But I think what the Miami Heat found out that he's like kind of a liability on defense. that people attack him when they're on defense. I think
Man,
we'll
it's a
see
guy
him in
worth 90 mil
spots.
if he can't play
Yeah.
one half of the game.
I think as long as Max Strus is still hot and still playing, he's going to get the start over, or he's going to get play over Duncan Robinson. I think they'll find spots to put Duncan. Like, yo, here's 5 minutes. Here's 7
when they're up
minutes.
by
Here's 10
15
minutes
in the fourth quarter, that's the
Yeah.
last time I seen him play. Knock
Yeah,
down a couple
here's
threes.
yeah. So, and with Duncan Robinson, it's kind of weird. People are trying to encourage him because he had like some confidence issues, I guess, where he says he's like imposter syndrome. He'll feel like especially like in that bubble, that was a big thing. He felt like he wasn't supposed to be there, or like he couldn't believe. You know what I mean? And Miami Heat have
You need
full
to get
trust
out of
in
that. You're in there, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you
At some point,
can think about it. You can think about it after, like.
Yeah. And that's one
I
thing.
don't
What was that?
Hey,
What's up?
we're inching closer to that championship, man. This will be the sixth appearance if they make it in like the last how many years? Like that'll be insane. And if they make it again to the finals, that'll be 2 finals post LeBron and D Wade era as well. So we're in a new generation of Miami Heat here.
We listen. As far as the Miami Heat have found a way to stay irrelevant. Minus last year. Last year they got bounced out in the first round, but Miami Heat have found a way.
It's fair.
We got beat by the champion, so
first round, luck of the draw.
Would you say this Heat team is a more sustainable team than the previous 3?
Sustainable, like how? Like
if you were to take a piece, like if you were to take Jimmy Butler out of that team, are they still a top flight team?
Good question.
I think Jimmy Butler is your primary, right?
A top 5 Eastern Conference team. Are they in a better spot than they were when LeBron left? If Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah, I would say because
the team is more sustainable. Like you could take pieces out and they're still going to be good because you have so many role players that can show up. You might not have your star, but you could still.
Dude, we were struggling. I don't know if you remember those post LeBron teams.
Wade was old.
It had Danny Granger. It had fucking ISO Joe, fucking Joe Johnson on that team.
Chris Bosh had like blood clots or some shit like that. Like
so, as far as like post LeBron, like Miami has found a way to still be relevant, still be competitive. Because everyone will say, "Oh, LeBron, y'all had LeBron." Like, okay, now it's been fucking years. All right, let's see where LeBron's gone. Yes, he won. A couple championships. He won in Cleveland. He won in LA. But like, where is he right now? Currently, like the Miami Heat.
And you have a lot more younger players on this team.
Yeah,
you have the team is a lot younger. And that's what I mean, by they're more sustainable, because you still have youth in a lot of these players. And if you were to take one out, or if one was to get too old and kind of lose its touch, you still have the rest of the supporting cast around to keep it up.
So I do want to take it back. Let's take it back to the series. I want to talk about LeBron. LeBron, he's in Cancun.
I'm not talking about LeBron.
This motherfucker's doing Q&As and shit. I don't want to talk about him. I want to talk about playoff basketball because the Miami Heat are in playoff basketball. This team is still competitive. They found a way still to compete, and I still think they have. I think these are 2 equal teams. Like these are 2, like I said, these are 2 of the best teams from the Eastern Conference for the entire year. We're seeing them head to head in the finals, as it should be, as you would wish to see in a finals. This is a good matchup, but I still got Miami, man. I still got Miami. The thing I want to look for, I expect them to win game 2, but I do want to see them on the road. I'm looking forward to game 3 to see how
that's the biggie. That's the biggie. You want to see how,
like I said, we got bounced last year. We got bounced last year, so. I want to see how they're going to react going into Boston for game 3. All they have to do is to steal one. If you steal one, you already have home advantage. If it goes to 7, you have home field. You have home court advantage. How are you going to act in game 3? But let's talk. Let's get to game 2 first. Let's get to game 2. Figure that out, and then we'll talk about it.
Here's what I say too about like the whole pathway thing. It's like at the end of the day, like who cares if you had the easier path or the harder path? At the end of the day, you're still going to have to face a hard ass team. You're still going to have to face. You still had to face either the Bucks or the Celtics. Who cares if you face it earlier or not? At the end of the day, it's like, all right, you had the easier path, but then you get knocked out in the 3rd round. Does it matter if you're in the? Nobody remembers the fact that you're in the Eastern Conference.
It depends on the goal of your team, right?
Because no one remembers that.
If your team, if you're built for a championship, then yes. But if you're a team like the Hawks or something, your goal is just to get as far as you can. You're not winning a championship. But you're gonna. I
don't know. I feel like for me, if I lose in the conference finals or if I lose in the 1st round, it doesn't make a difference to me. You still get the job done.
you can still look at success for the team depending on what they were expected to make. For that season. That's what I'm saying. Like, I get
But
what you
like
mean. In that.
to fault the Heat for having the East, it's like, who cares? At the end of the day, you still got to face that top. Like, it doesn't matter if your first 2 rounds are easy. At the end of the day, if you can't get past that hump, does it matter if you faced it earlier or not? It's like, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter if it's at the Eastern Conference Finals. They still had to go through them. They still had to go through the second best team in the conference. And some people might say the best team in the conference, according to Gabe.
I think this is the best. I think this is the team that's comparable to the skill set of the Miami Heat in the East. The best team.
Yeah.
All right.
More than the Sixers, more than the Nets, more than all these other trash teams. Let's talk about what's up.
I'm calling Heat in 6 for y'all. We're gonna switch over to the Western side of things, and I've been really, really, really wanting to talk to Gabe about this whole Phoenix fiasco over here, and debacle. Whatever you want to call
would say,
the
a catastrophe.
Chris Paul fraud, as Gabe would say. And let's talk about that, Gabe. What do you think about Suns giving up that last game by 40?
I mean, as far the preview, the game before this game, yeah, man. I mean, I feel like the Suns, they were definitely expected to win, right, going into the season, especially going as far as deep as they did last year. I think they were very deserving. This year, I think they still played equally as well. They played, as well as they did last year, with still the same expectations to go deep in the playoffs. But you see the team like kind of implode. Like, I don't know what the future of this team is going to be going forward. They have Aiden supposed to be getting paid. They're talking about Booker to the fucking Knicks. Chris Paul's another year older, as old as he already is playing. So
would not go.
Yeah, man. You want me to talk about Chris Paul? That's what you want me to get. You want me to get my hot take on Chris Paul?
Right. I like Chris Paul. Let's prepare to hear Chris Paul slander for the next 30
Chris
minutes.
Paul slander. Clip this out and just put Chris Paul slander, Julian, on the YouTube. Just get ready to hear Chris Paul slander.
Listen,
Paul.
For the listeners and viewers out there, I just want to say in our little group chat we had your boy Gabe was sounding off on your man's Chris Paul. He had all the memes ready. He had all the memes.
No, I didn't have
Chris
all the
Paul
memes.
disappearing from that State Farm commercial.
Yes, the State Farm commercial where he disappears, because that's what he does in Game 7s. He's like 0-7 in Game 7, or he's 0-5 in Game 7.
It's ridiculous.
Chris Paul. I don't want to diminish like what he's done. Like I just, maybe he's not my favorite player. I don't want to diminish what he's done. He's been a productive
player. You can critique him for what he did this series. You can't critique his whole career.
No, yeah, and that's what I say. I want to talk about him now, like in this series now, at his age.
Was it him though
in this playoffs?
It wasn't just him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, was it him though? Like,
you don't lose by 50 because Chris Paul didn't show up.
That doesn't happen. Like, your defense entirely just,
especially when you won games without him really doing much or being much of a factor.
I mean, he did disappear in this game in the series. But it's not all on him, right? Booker didn't live up to his expectations that they had.
I don't even believe it's just them two.
No, let's talk about that, right?
Go ahead, Jojo. Go ahead.
You got the young guy, the young buck Booker. Let's put him on the spotlight, right? Let's talk about that Booker Doncic matchup. Who got outplayed? That's what you got to talk about in this series here. It's not going to be on your 40-year-old point guard Chris Paul. He's not going to. I mean, we've seen it so many times. He's put the game on his back. Even with D-Book out, he did his part already in the last series. He held it down in the first round when D-Book got injured. We saw him close out games single-handedly, as the veteran on that team. But that one-on-one matchup, this is the youth, this is the future of the game now. And your boy D-Book got smoked.
Yeah, and as far as like I can't talk about the Suns without talking about the Mavs, right? I didn't expect much coming of them. I think they barely made whatever the 8th seed or whatever seed they made.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone.
7th. I think
I wasn't expecting a lot out of this team, and I think JoJo, you and I talked about like, the only way the Mavs move forward is if Luka goes off, then the team is going to go off. The Mavs,
and he did.
Yeah. Luka, I feel like Luka's still, definitely a top 10 player still in the league, like as far as individually. That matchup, Luka had questions, and the Suns didn't have any answers for him. To go back to Chris Paul, like I don't want to diminish what he's done, his accomplishments, whatever. I just feel like a little bit people talk about him a little bit, like as far as like how good as he should be. Chris Paul hasn't accomplished, the final thing, right? And I feel like he's gonna fall into this like Charles Barkley kind of thing, where it's like, yo, you were a great player. You're like, these guys, fucking American hero. You go to the Olympics. You in college. You're fucking amazing. You did shit in the Hornets. You did shit with the New Orleans. You fucking went to the Clipper.
Here's the thing I will say though,
you've been productive. It's just like you never got that last little bump, that last little award that you're supposed to get.
I will say the one difference between when Charles Barkley was playing to Chris Paul now, Charles Barkley was playing in the Jordan era where they were winning literally every single year except for the 1 year he opted out in the 90s. Like, so that, like, nobody won during that era except for him. Like, so it's hard.
And also real quick, not to get off topic, even with this last generation of champions, let's just go back to Golden State Cavs. Like, you literally had, or even with the Heat, you had the same teams in the finals. So it really didn't give a lot of these legends now an opportunity to get there, because Warriors went 4 times in a row. Cavs went 4 times in a row. The Heat went 4 times in a row. You saw the Spurs in there a couple times in a row. Like, aside from like the Mavs who got over the hump and, over the Heat, they won that championship. And then you had the LeBron race for like 8 years. And then who won after? I want to say what? Who won before the Bucks? I can't remember. Oh, the Lakers. But
Lakers.
Again, that's LeBron back in there again. So it's like a lot of these, veteran players, unless they teamed up with somebody else, they didn't really have a chance to even win a championship. Like,
and then and then like back then too is like it was even. At least you had the 2 teams. Back then, it was just like the Bulls are just winning it. Like they're like going into the season, they're just gonna win it. It wasn't even like, oh, we know it's gonna be these 2 teams. Like then it was like, no, they're winning. And the Suns, when Charles Barkley was playing, like they weren't going to take it all the way.
And back to the Lakers as well, even beforehand. Like when Kobe was playing, he got 5 of them things. Like damn, bro, let some of these teams get 1.
Yeah. So as far as like, the Suns, I think they fell below expectations. Obviously, going to the finals was what they did last year. So like they fell below expectations as far as whatever. Chris Paul, I think he's well liked, well respected among the league. He was like a leader of the player association. If he's still not, I don't know who the leader of the player association still is. I think he's well liked. He has accomplishments. He's not like I honestly think he's going to be like a Hall of Fame player just because.
Of course,
without a doubt. That's not even a doubt.
It's first ballot.
It's just he never got over that hump, right? It's like the thing that they give about Kershaw. Kershaw finally won his championship. It's like, yo, you're very good during the regular season. You have this huge career. It's just in the playoffs. It just never ticked. You always hit a bump. There's never.
It's like Carmelo
bumped up.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man. Like, and I'm not taking anything away from this Mavs team and Luka and everybody. But there's still no reason why they should have won that series, like with the team the Suns had. Like that's a gimme to go to the next round. I feel like it should have never went to 7. Like you're literally better than last year, and you made it to the finals last year. Again, not taking anything away from the Mavs, but like we said coming into the playoffs, what did the Mavs really have to? I mean, everyone stepped up, but what did they really have to offer? They played better without a Porzingis on their team, like freaking 7-footer that can shoot and do all this stuff. Obviously, he didn't show up in the playoffs, but we couldn't even name more than 3 players on that Mavs team that really showed out. I mean, before the playoffs started,
I couldn't believe my eyes. I got out of the movie because I didn't get the chance to watch it. I was in the movie theater. And I came out, and you know how like the AMC, they have like the bar and stuff now, where it has like the TV. Bro, I came out of that movie theater, I couldn't believe my eyes. Like I was like, it was like 4th quarter, 6 minutes left, and they're up by like 40, and I'm like, I thought it was still dark. Like I thought my eyes still had to adjust from being in that dark theater. I couldn't believe it, bro. I was like,
in
what?
Phoenix, in the middle
Phoenix.
of the desert.
Phoenix. Like I couldn't believe it. Like my eyes were like, what? I was.
You see, I understand if you lose by a buzzer beater or an OT or
A close
and
game.
if something happens towards the end of the game, so Booker, knock on wood, gets injured, or whatever the case is. That was an ass whooping.
And real quick too, we're gonna everybody's gonna put all the blame on Booker and Chris Paul for not showing up, but there's still like 10 other motherfuckers on the bench who need to show up as well.
Cam
You don't lose
Johnson,
by
Aiton, who hasn't been
you
a
don't
while.
lose
Yeah,
by
like,
40 because two players. I don't care if those two players are your star players. You don't lose by 40 if you are a number one seed. If you're a number one seed, you're a number one seed for a reason. Like at the end of the day, we looked at the Suns as like kind of one of those teams. They have a lot of role players. They have players that can show up, and they're a relatively kind of deep team where they can have guys that can plug and play. And like, I don't care. Like, you can blame those guys all you want, but it's not fair. Like, you can't like sit there and put all the blame on them because they're the superstars. At the end of the day, there's still three other guys on the court with you, and then there's five other guys on the bench that still should be out there keeping the game close. At least it's not like it's not like Dallas is the most like powerhouse team in the league. Like you said, without now that's a team where it's like without Luka, they're really kind of fucked.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, I still don't think it's still a team sport. At the end of the day, like I don't care. Like it's a team sport. Like you're a number one seed for a reason. It's not like you were eighth and you squeezed in. It's like nah, like you should have players on the bench that should be strong enough to help when
I remember saying like when Chris Paul re-signed with Phoenix, because we all thought, hey, maybe towards the end of his career he might have linked up with LeBron to try to get a championship, because who knows. I thought it was a mistake, and I remember saying this when he re-signed there. And look how much better they got, even from the previous year, from making it to the finals. They broke their regular season wins record. They were the number one seed, throughout pretty much the whole season. They were going back and forth with Golden State early on. They had like a crazy like 10 or 13 game win streak early on. Like they were on fire and they were playing really well. And it just sucks to see a collapse in the playoffs like that bad. You know what I mean? I would have loved to see Phoenix versus Golden State, because honestly, those were the two best teams for a majority part of the season. Yeah. And when Gabe gets back here, I really want to talk about this new matchup though. Forget the last round. We're gonna talk about the Warriors versus the Suns and
Mavericks.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm still caught up on the Suns. Warriors versus Mavericks.
No,
listen, if Warriors get another shot to go to the finals, the dynasty can start all over again.
They're going right now. They're the favorites to win the series, minus 230. It kind of sucks because you would have liked to seen the Suns Golden State matchup in the finals. Like it would have been a great, high powered, super offensive game. But honestly, I think you're just going to see the Golden State just beat up on the Dallas Mavericks.
On Dallas, you don't think Luka and Party is going to pull through?
I think they win. I think they win 2 games. I think they win in 6. I see Golden State winning in 6. It's just
they're just too scary. They have way too many shooters, and we say this year in, year out. What's kept them from getting back was the injuries, of course. Mm-hmm. Everyone on that team's been injured in the last couple of years, and now if they remain healthy, and all they have to do is win 4 more games, which they're definitely capable of doing. This team has so much experience. They still have that core. You have a back-to-back MVP on that team, top 5 shooter all time, Klay Thompson, a defensive player of the year, like Draymond Green, rising stars, Jordan Poole. It's insane.
And it's like you can't.
They have in that team,
and it's like no disrespect for the Mavericks, but it's like the Suns dropped the ball. Like they were by far the better team. They should have won. And the Mavericks shouldn't have made it this far. And so it's like Golden State is going to come up there, and they're a team that shows up. Like just the nature of Steph Curry and like all those other boys on them teams, like these guys, they're not just going to let that just fall through their hands. They've been there too many times.
Facts.
They know what it takes. They know what it takes to win a championship. They know what it takes to go to the finals year in and year out. They have an intense fan base that's going to show up, and it's going to be a fortress. It's like this is a whole other animal like going up against Golden State. And like you said, Golden State's like they're back.
They got
Like-
through a dogfight with Memphis. Memphis was a higher seed. They got through that dogfight and shut them down. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, Gabe, now that you're back, we're talking about this Golden State Dallas matchup here in the West, and what's your take on that?
As far as like this matchup, like I don't expect every statistic, every bone in my body is telling me Golden State. This is like Golden State 2.0 that they're gonna pull out this series. Like I said, the Mavs are exceeding my expectations. They impressed me too much. Like I think they did win that series. They won it outright. Like they just outplayed the Suns. So I still expect, game 1 is gonna be played tonight in Golden State, and it's I don't know if it's gonna be quick work, but I still expect Golden State to just pull it out. Like I think Golden State is an easy favorite to go to. They're easy finalists. Like if you're telling me at the beginning of the season, is Golden State gonna be a finalist or is the Mavs gonna be a finalist? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Y'all look at
keyword healthy, a healthy Golden State. The core is there. Klay Thompson's back. He's in rhythm. Like, scary.
Here's what you don't need. You don't need fucking getting into foul trouble.
Facts.
He's a official habitual nut kicker. You don't need him talking. We'll see how as far as like refereeing, like what refs they put on these games. We know certain referees don't like certain players. There's referees that don't like, Scott Foster doesn't like Chris Paul. Draymond Green is gonna get, he's gonna get extra attention if he's, acting weird or sideways. So
that's a fact. That's a fact.
As long as we're talking about full rosters going all the way, Golden State's gonna pull this out easy, bro. This shit should be 5 games, though.
Yo, so Gabe, real quick, all the attention's on Luka. Now, do you see right from the start their game plan is going to be get on Luka? You think they're going to double team or just Draymond? That's your man the whole game.
I mean,
because he's a big guard. Right? Curry's not going to be able to hold. No, Luka.
I mean, it's going to be tough because Draymond plays down low, right? Luka can he brings up the ball, and he can play wherever. I think if Luka's going to be driving a lot, which I don't expect. If Luka's gonna be driving a lot, then they're gonna have flashes.
He backs down the point guards because they're all so small compared to him. Then he does his little fade away, his drop steps to the basket. This guy's so versatile, it's insane. Or he might just pull up in your face for 3, which he did against Phoenix. So he can do everything.
I don't see the matchup. I don't know what Golden State has planned for Luka. Luka can pretty much do whatever. Like as far as like playoff players who are on fire, Luka's on fire right now. He's
doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, and as long as people don't push him or he doesn't get injured, people don't play rough. Draymond. We saw earlier this season or this playoffs where Draymond got kicked out for giving a tough foul. Was it to not to Looney? Who was the guy he slapped right in the face and then tried to pick him up? So Draymond, he's trying to give hard fouls. We'll see. Like I said, there's gonna be extra attention on Draymond. I expect Luka to play well. I expect Luka to give him a fight. But as far as the series, this should be Golden State in 5, man. And they have home court advantage, bro. They have home court advantage.
And Gabe, what I was saying too when you were gone, I was telling JoJo, it's like. Phoenix, like, let's be real, Dallas shouldn't be there. Phoenix fumbled the bag big time. Like, they fumbled it, like immensely. Golden State's not going to do that. They've been here too many times. They know what it takes, and they're not going to they've gone against and beat stronger teams than Dallas. Like, they've been there, done that, and they're in a fortress in San Francisco. Like, that place is notoriously extremely hard to play in, and they got home court advantage. Like, it's not a chance. There's no way.
And right now, Golden State is minus 220. Dallas is plus 22 as far as money line.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Overall, Golden State is the favorite.
They're pretty heavy favorites. It's pretty heavy.
Which is different than, the Miami series. I feel like Miami, well, they're the favorites now, but going into the game, it was Boston. But I feel like Boston and Celtics are pretty much evenly matched up. Right. So, what's the next thing you want to go on to?
I would say I think we're done with basketball for the day. We've gone on it for 40 minutes. So let's go to the next one. Let's talk about NHL playoffs. They have just now started the next round. Gabe and I's beloved Cats, Florida Panthers, have made it to the next round to face off in a rematch, a revenge series between our rivals, the Tampa Bay Lightning. And last night was game one, and it did not start off strong.
Yo, and here's what I gotta say, man. You guys keep talking matchups. It doesn't matter who you see when. I'm telling you, when you have a long playoff series and getting your road to the chip, it matters. And I'm gonna jump the gun on both your opinions here. I don't care what y'all say. You don't want to see Tampa, the back-to-back champ, knocked you out of the playoffs, and you want to see them in the second round?
No, I want to see fucking Tampa.
No,
I don't care when it is.
The first game at home,
but
it's not looking good for you guys. It's not looking good for y'all. Yeah,
they lost the first game. They lost the first game at home against the Caps. They lost first game, and they came back. They won twice in Washington, and Washington was a very good team. Tampa squeezed out of there. I don't know how Toronto dropped the bag on that. Like, Toronto was up 3-2 in that series, and then Tampa wins 2 straight without home ice. Toronto had home ice advantage, and they still lost that series. Toronto. I was expecting the Panthers to play Toronto. I thought the Panthers were going to go to Game 7, but after losing that first game at home, they bounced back and won in 6. So I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, home ice is important and it's really strong, but it's also not like something about hockey. It's just like you can win you see away wins all the time. Like it, like you see it a lot. I don't know if it just these guys just know how to like just tune out the crowd better,
especially
or what.
I don't know. Playoffs.
Yeah, like it really like I don't look at home ice as like that strong of an advantage in hockey. Like I just feel like it's literally just you're playing 7 games and that's it. It don't matter where you are. It's like bubble. Yeah. But so I was gonna say like it sucks that they're down 1 and they had the game tied up until going into the third period, and then they just like completely just imploded on themselves and gave up 3 with the goalie in net. So. But I expect a bounce back game. Hopefully, they can go in here and tie it up, and you're gonna have to sneak one away at Tampa, and like they did with Washington. Tampa they're not as strong as not as dominant as they were last year, and the Panthers are a much improved team, and the Panthers should win this, but they do have that President's Trophy curse hanging over their head, so hopefully they can get past it.
So Jojo, let's talk about what he just said. The President's Cup is like usually it's an award, right? It's like for the team, it's like the team you expected the least, right? That's what the tradition or the history of it. People say like fans be like, "Yo, if you got the President's Cup, that means like nobody expected shit out of you and you did something, right?" But
that was the best record.
Yeah, it is the best. Traditionally, President's Cup people haven't done. The teams haven't done well in the playoffs. So I'm just trying to explain that to JoJo, who might not know a lot about hockey. But the Panthers have a tough road to hoe, right? They just went through Washington, which was an experienced playoff team. They've won the chip before. And they got through in Game 6. It was very tough.
That was a brutal season.
Butthole was puckered
the entire time.
Yo, we went down early, and that's the thing with these cats. Like they go down early, and that's why they call them the cardiac cats. I'm not wearing my cardiac cat. I'm wearing my Bolts cats.
Yeah.
This means war.
And then they'll drop like 5 goals at the end. Right?
Well, the thing too is it wasn't even like it wasn't like a game. Like it went to Game 6, but it literally felt like 7 because there was some games where they came back. I don't know how. Washington should have closed out that series, I believe, in 6. There was 2 games where I'm like, we came back with like 2 minutes left in the third period to tie it up and then score in overtime. I think they won in overtime twice, right, Gabe? Am I crazy? Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won in overtime twice. And after being down in the third period. So they were going into the third period down. and then they go into and tie it up, and right at the end of the third period to go into overtime and end up scoring in overtime. So like, you take away those 2 games, like, I mean, that's series, like that's it, like, you know what I mean? That's Washington in 6, but they were able to sneak through and get those wins.
They're able to get that first goal, but in the second quarter, Lightning were able to equalize, and I feel like a lot of the times they were, I don't know,
Period, Gabe. Period.
There's only 3. There's not a quarter. There's no 4.
All right, it's 1/3, Gabe. You want to teach you some math out here, Gabe?
Let's sign on. Anyways, yeah, they were able, Lightning were able to equalize, and I feel like Miami has been tough, like on deep point in transition, where especially when they're transitioning.
They're getting killed in transition.
Yeah. And at one point, when they started scoring goals, when Lightning started scoring goals, they actually put like 5 forward. So JoJo, there's only like 5 people. Like you have 5 people plus the goalie. At one point, they just put all offense. They just put all forwards, like people who score, because they were falling back so far behind. They just need this is like a Hail Mary, just trying to score.
Well, yeah, empty net.
Yeah. So, I feel like, man, it's especially opening game 1. We've seen the Panthers struggle with the game 1 where the coach said they're playing too nervous. They're playing, they're playing not their style, their brand of hockey. So it's really tough to lose a game 1 at home. Now we have a game 2 at home. I do wish
I'm going to that game.
You're going to
the game. Yeah, I'm going to the game tomorrow.
The crowd should be crazy. We should be all.
Oh, it's gonna be wild.
This is kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's a must win. It's like,
it's a must win.
It's a must win.
It's a must win.
The first 2 games at home against the team that beat y'all last year,
against Tampa, champs. And then you're going to win 2 at Tampa.
Listen, Gabe's just trying to stay calm, and he thinks this Cats team is like the Miami Heat over here. Like he just I never seen Gabe so relaxed.
But here's the thing: this is the most encouraging team of years of Panther play. Like I haven't.
Oh, this is the best. I was watching. I think it's the best Panthers team. This is the best Panthers team in history. Like regular season wise.
Yeah. As far as regular season records, I do like this team as a whole. Like I said, it's just we haven't seen them do it in the playoffs. Like make a playoff run. Last year was our chance to they're gonna make a playoff run, and they end up playing the team that eventually. This is like the Heat Bucks, right? They lost to a team that won the championship. So that's what we're running into this year. Is like, now we're facing the team in the second round. This is the first time in like 26 years, 25 years that they've gone to the second round. Right, because they've always
yeah, and then I think when
they playoffs, they rarely made the playoffs, but this is the first time they got past.
They advanced.
When they get to the playoffs, they got bounced in the first. Now they're in the second round. So
and I think it was the first time they led a series since like 2010, or something like the first time they led a series. And I think too, like the one thing the Panthers have not against them, something against them is they don't have experience in playoff runs. Like they don't. I mean, you go against Washington, which was a tough one, and you saw the inexperience, how it played a factor in that first round to where, like I mentioned earlier, they could have lost that first round easy. Washington fucked up, but they're more experienced. You're going to go against Tampa, who won the championship 2 years in a row, so they're clearly experienced. So it's being able to mature and just keep your head down, and like you were in the regular season, and continue to be the highest scoring team in the league like you were this year.
Facts.
So this is the most encouraging team we've seen in a long ass time. Like I said, they rarely make the playoffs, and when they do, they get bounced in the first round. And now we're seeing their first time being in the second round. This is a tough schedule. You got past the Capitals, experienced team. You're playing the Tampa, experienced team. If you somehow find a way to get that, you have to play Carolina, who's also been playing very well this season. So
I don't think Rangers aren't passing Carolina.
Yeah, one of the toughest schedules to the Cup. So I don't want to freak out.
All right, all right. So to end this part of the segment, Cats in 6. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know about Cats in 6.
It's going to be 7.
7? All right, Cats in 7.
If they win, it's going to be in 7 games. Is home ice. This game 2, they definitely need to win. They need to
against
win.
the
bro.
defending.
And it's not even like, yeah, if you somehow get by Tampa, then you're going to face the Hurricanes, and then if you get by the Hurricanes, you're more than likely going to meet the
You gotta face the
Avalanche.
West.
You're going to meet the
Avalanche is
Avalanche, and the Avalanche is so good. Like they're so good right now.
So it's a tough playoff series, but we'll see.
It's entertaining. It's been super entertaining playoffs. Like this playoffs has
Let
been
me ask you a
awesome.
question, Jojo. If you're on a playoff team and you lose, it's just one game, right? You're gonna lose anyways. Like, do you care about the score? Like, do you care about, like, if you're losing? Do you care about it being close losing, or do you care, like, if it's a loss, it's just fucking whatever? It's like, blow me out. Like, and hockey is 1 point, so like, they lost 4-1. But in like NBA, it'd be like, yo, if I'm gonna lose, it might as well be by 30 points, right? Because whatever. If
I
we're gonna
mean,
lose
it
anyways,
sets the
No,
momentum. It
matters
sets the
10 points versus
momentum for
30
the
points.
next game. I feel like it depends how you lose, right? Like sometimes it could be demoralizing. I mean, we've seen 30-point win games, 40-point win games in this entire NBA series, but I mean, hockey's a little different, right? You're not
bro.
putting
Like,
up 40 points either way. Like it comes down to it. Majority of the time, you're not even scoring more than 5.
yeah,
Those close games, every game matters. It doesn't matter how much you lose by, but of course you want to keep it as close as possible because you want to show that you competed, right? You want to show that your defense was there, your offense was there, or players are coming in clutch because it could be a close game and it could be why did you lose, in the last 2 minutes, right? Like did your defense collapsed? Was it strategy? Like their best player didn't pull through in playoffs. Of course it matters, right? It sets the tone for the
yeah.
next game going forward.
Well, that and I mean, shit. Like miracles can happen. Like
Yeah,
you got to put yourself in a position for
to
shit to
win.
happen. And if you
Yeah,
get like, even if it's a long shot, if you put yourself in that situation for something great to happen, eventually it's going to hit. And like you said too, at the end of the day, it's hockey. It's not like basketball where you have to score 30 points. It's like a lot of times if you're down and slow, it's like 1 or 2 goals. And like, I mean, same thing like in soccer, for example, you can have 30% possession while the other team has 70. But if you're able to score that one chance,
yeah,
like and even though hockey's a little bit more high scoring, it's like at the end of the day, it's like the Panthers are down 3-0 going into, I think Panthers are down 3-0 against the Capitals last series in the middle of the second period. They could have just rolled over and been like, "Oh, we'll get them next round. We're down 3
yeah,
nothing." They
yeah.
came back and scored 5 unanswered and won the game 5-3. And I think too, it's like also you got to be cautious of looking at score lines in hockey because sometimes at the end they'll do empty nets. They'll drop the goalie, bring on an extra player, and sometimes they'll just fling it and they score a goal and then you lose by like 3. But reality, you're just like
Yeah, you
it
took
was
the risk
really
of
it was really a
losing.
1 point game. You're just trying to do the best you can to tie it up, and then it fell apart.
Backfires.
Yeah, I think
But,
the series
all
going
right.
forward, one of the biggest things, just kind of their discipline as far as the Panthers' discipline, like getting fouls where they put themselves, where Tampa's going to get in power plays where they're playing 5-on-4 or whatever. That they got to calm that down. They got to play less anxious, less doing like kind of stupid fouls where they're playing down, because the game would definitely get away from them going forward. We'll see. Julian's gonna go to game 2. We shall see.
Yeah, bro, I got some dope seats too. Pretty
Take some
cheap, like
pictures.
$90.
You know, take some
So,
pictures and some video. We'll see
All
as
right.
far as NHL hockey.
Panthers,
Yo, can we talk
Panthers in
about
7, I guess.
if they're gonna win? It's gonna win. They're gonna win in 7.
it's going to be in 7, yeah.
Let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about Julian. He cannot go a podcast without talking about
Soccer.
Let's talk about Inner Fort Lauderdale and how big news coming out of Broward County. What do you got, Julian? What's going on in Broward? That's where you live.
Meanwhile, we were just talking about a team that plays in Broward.
Oh my
And real
God.
quick, I forgot to mention this. This is the one disadvantage of having 2 of your hometown teams in 2 different arenas, because now the series, the way it's lining up, the Panthers and the Heat are playing at the exact same time, which kind of sucks. Versus if they
Same
played in the
days.
same arena, yeah. Versus if they played in the same time a lot of times, and it's like versus if they played in the same arena, they obviously couldn't do that. They would have to alternate. It's like that's the one disadvantage of having 2 arenas. Is like they have to shit like that happens.
You have to
But
pick.
yeah. But anyways, yeah. Speaking to the news that he was talking about, so luckily, sadly, it was turned out to be not true.
I knew it.
We were
I knew it.
hoping
I knew it.
they are actually in talks. They are still in talks about possibly getting something done at the end of his stint in PSG in summer 2023. He has one more year left on his contract. They are still in talks with it, but the news report came out, I believe, of an Argentine or a Mexican media outlet, like a big name one. And I think the story was also broken by a Direct TV sports writer, which I didn't even know Direct TV had like sports writers. I didn't even know Direct TV was still a company. Like, but yeah, apparently the story broke out, and then like a couple hours later, a lot of people were shocked by this. So I follow a lot of Inter Miami reporters and stuff
Bro, I
like
was like,
that, and
there's
also
no way.
I
Everyone's
follow a
waiting
lot
for
of
calm.
I followed a lot of inter like MLS reporters and like beat writers and stuff, and everybody was taken off for a minute. And I remember when it dropped, all of them were like, let's investigate this. Like everybody was like investigating it. I follow one sports writer for the Miami Herald. She covers the Inter Miami, and she ended up coming a few hours later saying that she has very reliable sources, and which means she probably has sources within the team saying that this is not true. And then Messi's entourage, not entourage, but like his like I guess I don't know, his group, like his agent or something, something like that, came out saying that this is not true. And I also took it with a grain of salt when I heard the deal saying that he would come in 2023.
35%
35% of
stake
the
in the
team
company.
for a team
And
that's valued at $750 million. So that means that you're giving him 35% of shares, which the owner is definitely not doing that. Jorge Mas is not doing that.
There's
And
no way.
that would be worth $250 million or something like that. It's no shot. So I took it with a grain of salt, and it turns out it was right. I still think they're obviously trying. I think they're really, and I think Messi's open to the idea of coming. I think this just wasn't it. This wasn't, and I still think that summer 2023 is a realistic time he could come, like right at the end of his contract, after the end of the World Cup, at the end of this year. I think this year is obviously going to be his last World Cup for Argentina. But yeah, I still wouldn't rule out summer 2023. That just wasn't the deal, and I don't. And there's no way they're giving him that much. There's going to be some sort of, just like they did with Beckham. There's going to be some, or a Zlatan, like it's going to be outside of just the team paying them. There's going to be some, Messi's an Adidas athlete, MLS is an Adidas league. They're going to work out some sort of other outside business things to help supplement that contract to get him the money
sure.
that he would want.
He's gonna get his money.
Just like they did it with
just
like they did with Zlatan, just like what they did with Beckham. Like back then, they gave Beckham the rights to open up a franchise. You can't really do that now.
That's ridiculous. That's insane. To get him to come play, that's crazy.
Yeah, and now look at him; he owns Inter Miami. Yeah. But they knew the long game. Having somebody like David Beckham associated with MLS and having a team means a lot. I mean, ever since he announced that he was having a team, every at least 5 times a year, they're talking about how we're going to get some big name star. Like they were just talking about Luis Suarez coming over, the ankle biter. They're talking about him coming over here in the summer, which still might happen because he just finished his season in Atletico, just finished his contract at Atletico Madrid. But, Inter Miami's always going to be linked with these big stars because you have somebody like Beckham and you're in a city like Miami where people want to be. But yeah, when I took it with a grain of salt when I heard it. When I first saw the headline, I was like, oh shit. And then I clicked into it to see what the pay was going to be like. And I'm like, 35% shares. I'm like, I don't know about that. There's no way they're giving up that much control.
Listen,
I don't even think Beckham owns that much. Honestly, I think Beckham might own close to that, but I don't like. But with all that being said, I still think he might come in summer 2023.
I mean, listen, hey, when they finally move the team to Miami, he might be open to it. Let's see how many people show up to the games. Let's see if the team has a winning culture by then.
It
Um,
don't matter. I
there's a
don't think
lot of
none of that
variables going
matters.
on. You
I
don't
don't
think
think any
so?
of that
You
matters.
think he just
None of
lands
that
here
matters.
regardless?
He will come here regardless. None of that shit matters. And the moment he steps foot on that pitch, that
Sell
shit is going to
out
be sold out.
every
There's going to
game.
be
Is going to be
T-shirt
sold out.
sales. That's probably going to be part of his contract. Is like he gets like higher percentage of like jersey sales or
And like
something like that.
merchandise and all that.
Like you bring Messi, people will come. Messi will
Oh,
want to be
we
in
know
Miami. He
that, but
he
that doesn't
lives in
guarantee he'll
Miami.
come though.
He lives in Miami. The only option I see him going is going back to Barca. That's the only way, and I don't think Barca's going to want to pay him. But yeah, he will come, and they're going to give him a reason to come. He's going to get a lot of money, I'm sure, one way or another, and he would want to be in America. And MLS is not going to let this slip. This is MLS getting Messi. I'm not even looking at this like Inter Miami. If MLS gets Messi, it would be just as big as a deal,
For the
if
league
not
when they
bigger,
travel.
than when Beckham came. And
Yeah.
and we all know Beckham basically put MLS on the map, and MLS you can arguably say it is where it is today because of the fact Beckham came over.
Yeah. It's like LeBron being good for LA, but like when LeBron travels, like when he goes to fucking whatever Milwaukee, when he goes travels to a team, people are gonna buy tickets, they're gonna come watch. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
See-
like when Zlatan was here, like Zlatan was like, I'd never seen an empty stadium when he was in MLS. Every stadium was packed out, filled to the brim, like because people
yeah.
wanted to see Zlatan play. Like it was like, and the same thing
So
with Beckham.
Messi coming to
Like,
Miami, it might initially be good for Miami, but it's also good for MLS because wherever he goes, people don't want to see
bro,
Messi and the USA. Like you know what I mean?
it would even not even just it'd be great for American soccer because you're bringing in Messi, you're hosting the World Cup in 2026. You just had a team who just won the Champions League for the first time ever in history. Like, and then they're talking about hosting the Copa America, combining Copa America with North and South America, and playing the United States as like a way for United States to get, because once you're a host country doesn't get qualifiers, so like they have to like compete somehow. So they're talking about bringing that as well. Like 2020s, the 2020 decade is going to be fucking insane for you if they're like, and then Messi would just be like icing on top of the cake if they're able to bring him as well. Like it's going to be a new like golden era of American soccer. Like it's going to be ridiculous.
Let's transition. Let's finish it because the NFL news never stops. Let's talk about the NFL schedule that just came out. We finally got the full schedule of all the NFL teams. I'm the resident
Bro,
Dolphin fan. Julian's the resident Jacksonville fan. JoJo got his Broncos. So let's just talk about like kind of let's end it on the NFL and
yeah.
kind of what schedule came out and what were the predictions for the season.
So yeah, there was all kinds of like, obviously, like the crazy like schedule release videos that are just like, some of them are funny, some of them are bust. I don't know which ones you guys saw. I just want to talk over like some of our favorites. My favorite, I think, is probably the same as Gabe's. The best one was the LA Chargers schedule release video.
Chargers, yeah, they outdid them.
That one was gold. Jojo, did you see that one?
I didn't see that one. I saw Seattle's though. Seattle's was pretty funny.
I didn't see Seattle's. I was hoping the Broncos one would be kind of like a little bit more entertaining, but it was a little boring. Green Bay's was a little boring.
So real quick with Seattle's, they were like, we plan Thanksgiving and Christmas. It was appalled. Honestly, they didn't want to play Thanksgiving. They're like, damn, we're gonna miss Mama's cooking. They're like, yo, 2 primetime games for our, like, we don't deserve 2 primetime games. Like, how's that gonna happen?
Bro, so you need to, after this, you need to watch the Chargers one. It is great. They did the whole thing in anime. So the whole thing is anime, and they go throughout the weeks, and they just roast every fucking team except for like their division. Well, no, they even roast the. Dude, they go. I won't even spoil it for you, but
is it
when they
posted
do
on like their Instagram? I'm gonna see.
yeah, I mean it's everywhere. Their YouTube, their Instagram,
YouTube, yeah.
and it's like, man, they roasted the fuck out of the Jaguars. The Jaguars one was hilarious. And then when they got the Browns, oh man, like they did whoever did it, they did their research, and I think too the way it worked out with their schedule, they had a lot of material to go based off the teams they've played. Between like the Jags, the Browns, the the Cardinals. Like they had a lot of good material. The Raiders, so they had some pretty fucking funny schedule release videos. So like theirs was the best by far to me. Gabe, which
Oh,
one did you
I
like?
just found it now. I'm gonna take time after the show to watch it.
Yeah,
It
it
looks
was the
funny.
Chargers, man. The Chargers, they outdid themselves. I think they did a preview. They did one for the draft, which was kind of funny, where they had because the Chargers had no draft picks because they traded everything away for their team. Or no, excuse me, sorry, the Rams, something LA team, LA had a funny one for the draft, but the Chargers had a funny one for their schedule. I think it was dope. It's pretty unique, whatever. It's LA, so they're gonna get hyped.
Oh yeah, what they did with the Rams is pretty funny too. I forgot about that. The Rams, when they showed the Rams, that was pretty funny about them burning draft picks or something like that. Yeah.
So,
but wait, real quick, when you saw that, did you understand everything about the Jaguar one? I didn't get it at first, and then when my friend told me, I'm like, oh, I see it now.
yeah, I got it. That's why I sent it to you. That's why I sent it.
You got everything about it.
Yeah.
The bar and yeah, that's just because I didn't think about it at first when I first saw it. And then he was like, then my friend told me about it. I'm like, oh, I get it. That was clever. That was really good.
I think it's kind of funny. The NFL, obviously, we haven't seen an NFL game since February or whatever. They still seem to make news. They make a big deal out of their schedule. Like the schedule's like a thing. Like whatever. Like
yeah, it's crazy. Oh, the schedule's released and they're doing schedule parties now. I'm like, what's going on?
It's like, dude, it's like the marketing Super Bowl. It's like the NFL marketing team Super Bowl. Like who comes out?
It's a huge marketing event. They make big noise about it, even though, like I said, we haven't seen a game in months. Yeah, man. I just want to get into kind of the schedule. I don't know. Julian, have you seen your entire schedule? I mean, what match? We talked a little bit about last week about the matchups that we've seen as far as like the Christmas game.
Yeah, we talked about like international games. I have this right here. We can run through it super quick. Because essentially, like everything's kind of like done pretty much. So, yeah. So everybody's kind of drafts over, free agency over, whatever. We can run through and just give like basically way too early predictions of like division winners, and we can just go through and just
Can you pull it up? Can you pull it up?
Yeah, I have it up on the. Oh, yeah. Actually, I could do that. I didn't think about that. But yeah, we just kind of go through real quick and just kind of see everything and kind of give like our thoughts, and then yeah, we'll run through all 8. Where's it at? Okay, so for those who are watching it on video, you should see it now. All right, so we'll go through the AFC real quick. AFC East is Gabe's division. They have Dolphins in 3rd place. Gabe, what are you looking at? They have Buffalo Bills as a favorite. I'm pretty sure we all kind of can agree. I'm taking the Bills. I think the Bills are the best team by far. New England doesn't stand a chance. Dolphins, I don't care who they add. Like, Tua's not going to beat Josh Allen. So I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills are definitely the favorite. I think it's interesting that they're putting New England on the same level. They have a plus 400 with Miami, which I think is kind of interesting. But I do have the Bills coming out of the East as far as like one of the best teams in the AFC going forward. But my Dolphins will upset them. That's what I got.
Jojo, you got Bills? Your hometown team? Oh, wait. Can't hear Jojo. You lost.
Got it. Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Not my hometown, but yeah, definitely gonna have to go with the Bills on this one. Like you said, I don't see Dolphins coming out this year, even with Tyreek Hill and Tua combination going on over there.
All right, let's go to the next one. AFC North. This one's all 3-way tie, essentially. For some reason, they have Bengals at 210, but Browns and Ravens are plus 200. I'm taking the Bungles, bro. Like, this is the disrespect they're putting on their name right now. After they added offensive line pieces, they added offensive line pieces, and they have the Ravens as the favorite? No. And you don't even know if Deshaun Watson's going to be playing? Nah, give me the Bungles.
Yeah,
all right, real quick.
I'll go the same way. Go ahead.
Nah, you going Bungles?
I'm going Bungles, man. I mean, Super Bowl champions, you expect them. I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to say like, it's tough to make it to the Super Bowl, But based off last year, what I saw, like the Bengals have the most upside as far as young players, draft pick. They have the most potential. I would say they had the most perspective game, especially being in the Super Bowl last year. I'm not saying they're going to go back again. It's very tough to go back to back.
Yeah.
But the Bengals have the young team, and I think they're going to do better than the
I
other team.
mean, here's the thing. All right, they made a nice little run there. Good job. Kudos to the Bengals. We all spoke about that. Do they have enough to win a division, though? That is the question. They could get in the playoffs, but to win the division, that's another story. I'm gonna have to go with the favorites there, and that's gonna be the Ravens.
Wow.
Going against the grain with
So me
y'all,
and
boy.
Gabe got Bungles. JoJo's got the Ravens. We're gonna look back at this at the end of the
Yep. And
Listen,
season at the way too
I'm not
early
gonna.
division winner predictions. The way too early.
I don't know. Yeah, way too early. I don't know shit until I see people play. So I'm not gonna know.
we're gonna see it week 1, week
Games are
2.
played.
We're gonna judge off the games, and you're gonna be like, yeah, damn, Joe. Like, yeah, you were right.
All right, AFC South. They have Indianapolis as the favorites, and the Titans, the Jaguars, and Houston.
Bro, if you say Jaguars, I'm logging out right now. I'm just gonna log out.
No, I think Jaguars are going to be third, but this is kind of a shitty division, honestly. I mean, obviously the Colts I think are the best team. They should win.
What am I even looking at here with these 4 teams?
Like, they got Matt Ryan, so I have to go with the Colts. I will say the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. We got a fortress over there. We fucking hate the. We've been, after all these years, we've been so fucking bad all these years, but for some reason we managed to beat the Colts. Even the season where we drafted Trevor Lawrence, and we had a 1 win. Our 1 win was against the Colts at home. Like that shit is so funny to me.
Gabe, this is definitely like a Jaguar fan stat because none of us would fucking know those.
No, they're talking about it when the Jags beat the Colts at home, final game of the year last year.
Damn, so
that didn't get them into the playoff because all they had to do was beat us to go into the playoffs.
And then
Carson went and they lost at the end of the year. I don't know if you remember that, but like they were getting roasted, and that's why like Carson Wentz is no longer there. They were getting absolutely reamed because they lost to Clown Town. Everybody's there in clown suits, like, and they still lost. But yeah, I guess I gotta give it to the Colts. But I think we'll put up a fight.
I think the Jags can do a little bit better. I think they should be above the Titans because the Titans lost a lot.
I think so too. That's a hot take, but I think so too.
We'll see Henry coming back off an injury. You lost AJ Brown. I don't know what's going on with Julio Jones. He probably like 1 year deal. I don't know. But I think the Jaguars should do better this year, better than the Titans. But yeah, I'll take the Colts.
I agree.
Like I said, I don't even know what teams I'm looking at here. They all look like disappointments to me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the favorites with the Colts.
All right. AFC West. What do you got in the
AFC West? Chiefs, obviously the favorites, but they're not minus. They're plus 155. So they're the favorites. Then they got the Chargers, then the Broncos, and then the Raiders.
Wow.
They actually there's a big jump. I will say, I do think, man, they put a little bit of disrespect on the Raiders.
Yo, what's with the disrespect with the Broncos here?
No, what's with the disrespect with the Chargers? What are you talking about, bro? They got the Chargers on the same level as the Broncos? What is that?
I can't believe they got the Raiders as plus 700. Like, that's crazy to me. And the fucking Chiefs, I mean, I get, like, until somebody knocks off the Chiefs, they have to be the favorites. Yeah. But, I mean, like, they're not the best team on here. The Chargers is the best team in the West, I think. Like, they loaded up in free agency. Like, they were there to play. Fucking Justin Herbert, third year. That's a big year. That's like he's no longer a sophomore. It's like that.
Be the year he's
now a veteran.
Yeah, we already seen what he can do the first 2 years, trial and error, and he's been performing. It's gonna be scary. I'll tell you that.
I think this is gonna be a really close division. I think Chiefs go third, and then I think Raiders and Denver fight for second. I think Chiefs go third, and Raiders. I know it sounds weird, but I think the Chiefs will find a way to be in third place. But whoever gets second, it's going to be between Broncos and Raiders. And I really think they're disrespecting the Raiders with plus 700. I mean, though that offense is going to be nasty. Now they got Devontae Adams, like that. It's gonna be good.
I do want to see.
And they added pieces on the defense. Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
Listen, all I'm saying is we got a quarterback now. That's all I have to say, man. Like I said the same thing last few episodes.
What's up with your boy Jerry Jeudy? What the fuck was going on with that? Like,
listen, I can't speak on that right now. All right, but I'm gonna speak on that. We got a quarterback. That's all I'm gonna speak on. All right, and my boy's looking jacked. I know you see photos and videos of Russell Wilson out here. Boy been eating his.
The most I saw was him and that Peyton Manning schedule release thing. They did him and Peyton Manning did the schedule release.
I gotta check that out.
I got the Chargers coming out of this division.
I got Chargers.
Probably one of the most. This is the most competitive, like you said, Julian.
For sure.
Raiders are somehow getting this regular. I think it's a lot closer. This race is a lot closer. One of the most competitive divisions, but I got the Chargers as the favorite. They should be the favorite.
Yeah, I already know my pick, and it's a realistic pick because it can happen. May not be the favorites, but it can happen. I'm gonna go ahead with the Broncos.
All right. Let's switch over to the NFC. We got the worst division in the league. I hate this division. The NFC East.
There's not even. We shouldn't even analyze, bro, because it's gonna be the Cowboys out of these teams.
Cowboys, Eagles, Washington.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be between Cowboys and Eagles. I think Eagles gonna be a little bit better. We'll see what Jalen Hurts can do, but Cowboys are the proven team. They won the division last year. They are the better team. I'll take the Cowboys as well, but I think the Eagles will fight.
Y'all sleeping on my boy Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts he's gonna break out, man, this year. It's a breakout year. It's my prediction. Give me the Eagles. I'm not a fan of any of these teams. I hate the Cowboys.
For some reason, I thought Gabe was gonna pick the Commanders. I don't know. You look like a Commander kind of guy over there.
Carson Wentz lover.
You look like a Commanders type of guy over there. I don't know.
What I do is command these bets, and I command to win with the Eagles upsetting the Dallas Cowboys, who I hate with a passion. Anyway, let's go on.
All right.
NFC North. Not a good division this year. It's gonna be a battle between Minnesota and Green Bay.
Yep, obviously. Yeah.
Man, I like that Minnesota plus 280. I think they're gonna bounce. I think they have a bounce back year. Last year was a weird year for them.
It was weird,
but man.
We didn't know if they were gonna be,
and they're a good team
depending on the week. Like it was,
that was the hardest team to pick was Minnesota. I remember that.
You play good against the good teams and bad against the bad teams.
But I can't pick against Aaron Rodgers. Even though he has literally bums out there he's throwing to, like
back-to-back MVP.
I can't go against him. Green Bay.
That's a fact. Not saying he's gonna win the championship, but he could win a division.
I'm gonna go with the favorites, man. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna drag the Green Bay, even though he has nobody over there. Aaron Rodgers is gonna drag his team to another division win. I'll just go with the favorites. It's an easy pick for me.
All right, next one. This is kind of a surprising one. We got Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the favorites. Number 2, literally oh, never mind. I looked at that wrong. It's plus 380. Never mind. I thought it was minus 380. Tampa Bay is the heavy favorites.
Wait, I was going to say, because I see Tom Brady being back.
Well, I see minus 320, and then I saw new ones. I thought it was minus 380, and I was like, "What?" I was confused for a second, but I see the plus now. Tampa's going to take this all day. No shot. Like nobody has a chance. I mean, New Orleans got Jarvis Landry. He finally found a landing spot. But yeah, Carolina. Who knows who's going to throw the ball in Carolina? If they got Sam Darnold out there, they're probably going to be the worst team in the league.
Give your boy Cam another chance, man.
And Atlanta, Mariota round 2. Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Tampa.
There's another trash one.
All right, NFC West. Got to go defending champs. Los Angeles Rams. San Francisco. Is Debo going to be there? We don't know. Arizona. Can they repeat what they did the first 10 games of the season? I don't think so. Give me the Rams.
They had it. They dropped the ball towards the end of the season. They had the division.
I think the Rams are the easy favorite going into the season, but I do want to see what Arizona does. I said Hopkins is going to be out for a few weeks. I want to see what they do for. I think they're the most competitive in that division going forward. But give me the Rams. I'll take the Rams as a favorite.
All right. That's it. That's our way too early division winner predictions. And that is also a wrap on episode 51 of the Real Fans podcast. Jojo, where can they find us?
Get it. You could find us. We could do arenas today. FTX, Lone Depot Park, BBT Center, all the Miami/Fort Lauderdale arenas out
Actually,
here.
FLA Live Arena, which is stupid.
Where?
But it's now the FLA Live Arena for whatever reason.
Whatever that is. You can find us here in South Florida.
Again, we appreciate our downloads. Y'all checking us out on the podcast, on YouTube, Spotify, all the places. We appreciate y'all checking. We'll see you next week. We may have more games. We'll talk about more NBA, more NHL. Maybe we'll talk a little MLB. I don't know, Jordan. We'll talk a little MLB.
We got to.
Baseball.
We're going to start with that. We're going to have to replace MLB with soccer in these conversations here. It's taking way too much time. So,
yeah. More baseball.
Y'all see that change next episode.
We're gonna replace MLB with soccer. Okay, I'll take that.
Well, we appreciate y'all checking us out, man. We'll see y'all next week, man. We'll be out here. Peace.